The Drop with Frank and Brian is officially brought to you by Switch Suspension. Switch Suspension specializes in all vehicle chassis components. Lift kits, lowering kits, air ride suspension, wheels, tires, steering, and brake upgrades. They use all the best products from the best brands. And these guys are truck guys. You roll into their parking lot at the shop and they all drive custom vehicles. So they use their products that they sell on their own vehicles. So if you guys are looking for anything for your vehicles, whether you're just starting out or you just need some replacement parts or whatever, give them a call or visit their website, switchsuspension.com.
Hope you enjoyed this episode of The Drop. If you like these podcasts and all the other content we create, head on over to our websites and purchase merch. Purchasing merch keeps us going and creating more content. Our websites are grinder-tv.com and livelifecustom.com. We really appreciate it. Now on to the episode. All right, man, that was the fastest we ever got going.
Well, yeah, it's just unplugging this plug and plugging it back in.
Yep, I think that's it. Anyway, so it took me a while to get ready this morning.
Yeah.
I just sent my kid off on her first driving instructor.
Oh, instructor came and picked her up?
Yep, taking her out driving. I've been driving with her for the past few weeks, and I found out something interesting. So I think we're both similar. We started driving cars when we were very young, just getting in cars and driving them, moving them around. I forgot to do that with my kid. And
you have the property to do it.
I know. And to be fair, she always asks me. She's always like, because we have our ranch truck, we have the red Dwight's truck, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, can I just drive that around? And I don't know. I'm just like, well. And then so she gets behind the wheel of the Camry. That's what she's been practicing in. And I just didn't dawn on me that if no one has ever driven a vehicle before, there's so much fine nuance and feeling the car, how the car's moving, how the car reacts and stuff, that it's hard to teach that to someone or have them understand it, because right now she's hitting the brakes and it's all and then taking off and then jerking around like this, and at first I was getting frustrated, but then I had to remind myself oh, this person has never piloted a vehicle before. So they don't know that smooth brakes, smooth acceleration, minute movements in the steering wheel, so it's been an adventure. We got her little magnets for the car that says new driver, which is also has to be on me too, because one of the first or second time we went out, I'm just taking her. There's a couple golf courses very close to the house. So I'm just taking her up these kind of, they're not nobody drives on them. There's residents who live on those streets and stuff. And, but it's not heavy traffic. So we're going back and forth, and then we're pulling into one of the communities to turn around. And, this lady pulls up behind her, and my kid is trying to figure it out and starts honking. So I start getting kind of upset, and I'm like, wait, hold on. Everybody just calm down here. She's new. They don't know what's going on. I'm stuck in the middle. I'm trying to navigate this person, so, but it's been an adventure. The other thing I have to do is I have to take off, the wheels off the Camry, because I got those 20-inch banks on there right now. So I'm about to take those off and put the stocks back on it.
So she doesn't curb stuff?
Yeah. She came pretty close a couple times. But she hasn't so far. I don't think she will, but I don't want to risk it,
Yeah.
So anyway, that's
Camry's going back to stock.
Camry's going back to stock. The only thing that we debated on that I won't do is pull the tint off, because she seems okay with the tint. She's not driving at night.
Yeah.
It's gonna be it's gonna be an experience at night, because when you're driving that car at night, well, dark. It's just black. Yeah. I have to when I pull up, if it's no traffic around and I pull up to a stoplight, I have to roll down the windows to see what's going on.
To let light in, you're just it's actually not dark. It's not midnight outside, or it's not dark outside.
Yeah. So it's been an adventure so far. The cool thing is she's excited about it, I'm glad she's excited about driving. She wants to get out there. She wants to start driving. So
that's good.
Because there's that thing right now. I don't know if it's a thing, or we've said before, young people really don't have a need to drive or want to drive,
Yeah.
So
I read an interesting thing online the other day, and it was just we lost or we're losing just the simple thing about hanging out.
Yeah.
We don't hang out anymore.
Well, you know what the problem with that is? Okay, go ahead.
Like, we don't gather anymore. We're so scared. Like, we're so scared to go to someone's house and just kick it.
That's true.
We don't do it anymore. Like,
right.
Look at us when we get phone calls. We don't even want to answer the phone.
Yes.
And where does that come from?
Well, I think I've actually like seen a couple videos and like heard things on this. It's that's one thing, like hanging out at people's houses, but the other thing is lack of third space places. You know, like Starbucks is a really good example. So like, 20 years ago, Starbucks, they made it a place where you could gather with people and have coffee and talk and stuff. And it was like very welcoming. There were like couches and chairs and tables, and they would even put out games, and like they wanted you to stay there, obviously, to buy more coffee. But now that model, it's become like I refer to it as like hostile architecture. So like you go into a Starbucks now, and it's like they just want you in there, grab your coffee, and get out. And even down to like the way the chairs are designed now, they're not comfortable at all. They're more like just like little wooden saddles with legs, So I think that like this is going to get kind of weird, but on the pursuit of profit, they've lost a lot of the hospitality part of it. Which
but but if their business goal is not hospitality anymore, then that's what they're.
That's what I mean. Yeah. That's
but I'm just saying, like, as humans in general, like. Yeah.
And I went off on a bit of a tangent.
Before Starbucks was even a thing, we would just go to someone's house.
And
now we don't want people at your house.
Right. And I think that's just with the advent of social media.
It 100% is because we don't have the, like, we don't need to hang out with people because we talk to them online.
Right. Yeah. You could just FaceTime your friends.
Yeah.
In the comfort of your home, or play a video game with them.
But it's creating this social anxiety.
Like a social disconnect.
It's anxiety. Mm-hmm. It's all anxiety. You know what I mean? Like, you're anxious. Like, if I'm over at someone's house, I'm just like, how long do they want me here? Should I be home?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I go when I'm at places, I'm like, okay, I'll get out of your hair. See you later.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know that feeling.
And then people, I live far away, so people don't just come hang out at my house.
Imagine if someone just rocked up to your house and was like, "What's up?"
But
Brian?
I mean, I know people that live right next to each other, and they don't go hang out at the other person's house anymore.
Yeah.
And that's weird. And that just this whole, I'll have to send you the thing on Instagram. It was really interesting because it just showed people just kicking it.
Yeah.
In the driveway.
Yeah.
In the garage.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember those days, dude, hanging out
on
with the
the
club.
patio.
Yeah. But then also, to be fair, like I remember those 20 years ago when we didn't have that much going on in life and we could just hang out in someone's garage and just stare at a truck. Remember just standing around trucks?
Yeah. I mean, there's the time thing or the getting older and the changing thing. But I mean, even younger kids, they just don't kick it like they used to.
No, yeah.
And I don't want to say, like, I don't want to be that guy that's just like, oh, the kids these days. But it is definitely like a different thing.
Oh,
like,
for sure. I have two of them. And all they want to do is just chill in their room and talk to their friends through FaceTime. They will spend hours on FaceTime. And that's not an exaggeration. Literal hours.
I mean, I used to spend hours on the phone.
That's true, too. Mm-hmm.
But the ultimate goal was
to go hang out. Go friends. Somewhere and go do something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Like that feeling. I remember that feeling of getting my driver's license. Like, I was 15 years old, and I was like, man, when I get this thing, I could go anywhere I want. Mm-hmm. And we would just drive around.
Yeah. I just had a conversation about that with someone last weekend about navigating the freeways. The Southern California freeways are freaking complicated, and I learned just by driving them. And the way I learned how to navigate like the Southern California freeways is I realized no matter where I go, as long as I go east, and north, I will get home. Yeah. And that's why. And I have a really good sense of direction now. Like I have a very good sense of direction where I am because of that. And it's funny because there's a person like Angie who never navigated those freeways, who has a terrible sense of direction. And it's even funnier because this is what brought it up. We were talking about how we were explaining to people like, okay, get off on the 10 and go south of the 10, and some people like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, it's all very interesting. And I think it's all like, just like environmental, like how you grew up or what you did when you were young, because there's probably some dude who grew up in rural Nebraska, I don't know. Yeah. Now I'm just talking out my butt.
Yeah. Well, I remember just like when I was like, we would take off and just drive. We would go to LA, go to Hollywood, and not necessarily do like LA Hollywood things, but like I was constantly at Newport Beach, constantly in those places, just driving around. And it made me comfortable in those scenarios of like lots of traffic, figuring out my way. This is, obviously you have no GPS. You're just literally, like you said, go west.
Yeah.
Eventually you're going to hit, like here in Phoenix, everything's a grid. It's so boring. You know what I mean? It's so like,
it's true.
it's also very like, cause it's a new city. So they planned it around driving, where LA, they just kind of built like they just as needed. And same with like Boston, New York, and all those older places. But like these newer cities where, they start like this and then they grow out, and then they put a loop, and then they put a loop, and then they put a loop. And it's so easy. And it's just so, my mom will say, oh, I don't know where that is. I'm like, just literally drive. This road right here, Sun Valley Parkway that I live on, turns into Bell Road, which goes all the way to Scottsdale.
Oh, wow. If you stay on that road.
Every single road, that runs east to west, most of them, if you just get on it, you can go from one end of the valley, the suburbs, all the way to the other, and same north to south,
and not hit the freeway.
No, you hit the freeway.
Oh,
you don't need to get on the freeway. You could literally, it just goes, like they just go. They don't like go and stop, and then you got to go like this way and this way and this way. Like if you look at down like Riverside, where I grew up, you had Magnolia and Arlington, and they crisscrossed. They didn't run parallel the whole way. They would and then they would dive south of each other, and then you'd have to get. It was it's just a whole thing. But yeah, just getting out there and just like driving around, not with anywhere to go, but just driving,
And I wonder how that's going to be for my kid when she finally does get her license and she's out there all by herself. It's really weird being on this side of it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's also a curiosity thing and a necessity thing. She doesn't need to leave the house to hang out with her friends.
Right.
We needed to leave our house to hang out with our friends. To physically see our friends, we had to go somewhere. And then like there was there was video games and all that stuff, but it wasn't like it.
But it wasn't connected. There was a time right after high school when none of us had cell phones, none of us had GPS or nothing. Just landlines and stuff, and we would just you would just go, and there would be a Carl's Jr. out here. You just go to, if you went to Carl's Jr. and waited for a little bit, someone would come along, and then you could go do something. Yeah, that's the third space. That was our third space. We went to that space. You didn't even have to say, hey, are you going? Nothing. You just go there, sit there for a few minutes, and someone will walk in.
Someone will walk. Yeah. That was our. We had a house that we hung out called the Fat Farm.
Oh yeah,
and that was that's where if you were just I don't know what's going on. I don't know where anyone's at. I don't have, cell phones were just becoming a thing, not everybody had them. And you would just go there and wait. And eventually people would just start to show up, or someone would be there or whatever.
Yeah. It's wild. Anyway, so my kid's out there running the streets right now with some random lady that I've never met before. But anyway, what are we doing? What are we talking about today? We just talking about cars and stuff?
We're just talking about this. We don't have to talk about anything. We could just talk.
I know.
Had to be a certain thing we have to talk about.
Yeah, I know. But there are things going on. You got things going on. I got things going on. You dropped a video.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was good. Can I be brutally honest with you? Because you're always very honest with me.
Yeah.
The Panda stuff was always good. But it felt like it was kind of I was kind of going on a little bit. But when the Tanner stuff started going down, it picked right back up.
Yeah. So that's just how I've had to face the fact that that's just how some of these are going to be.
And remember, you were saying that it was going to come to a point in the videos where the big things were going to stop happening, and then a million little tiny things were going to start happening, and that's where the red truck is.
That's where the red truck is. That's literally putting that together took me. I don't know how many times of driving over there and back, you know what I mean? But again, it's not action packed.
Right.
It's not like there's not these big plots. The plot is just hanging out at the shop, and then you throw the Tanner stuff in there to kind of it's different, and the last one where I threw the trailer stuff in there and then that stuff. So that's just kind of the navigating that I'm going through now is okay, they're just cutting metal and welding metal. And then we're not doing a tutorial on how to do this. We're just kind of showing
progress.
This is how it is. Yeah. So that's just kind of what I had to go. That's not this episode, but the last one. It was the same thing. You know what I mean? It's just this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. But what I've come to realize is the videos I watch on YouTube, that's what they're doing too.
Mm-hmm.
There's no like big plot or there's no big whatever it is. It's just like, if you want to come along for the ride, then you do, you know, and if you don't, then you just kind of, you watch something else. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. No one's forcing anybody to watch it, and then you could just wait for something to big to happen, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just something that I noticed, but then I remember that, we talked about that specifically.
Yeah. And even putting the video together, it's like, okay, do I let this drag on or do I edit it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do I let this part go like there's some people that will upload videos and they're literally just, it's the same clip for 5 minutes.
Right.
And some people really like that. But I feel like people are going to check out. So I have to change it up a little bit, or I have to kind of do this. And that's where my editing kind of come into play, where not a lot of people are like, they don't really edit too much, you know?
Right.
So yeah, it's just, it's interesting. Like even yesterday I was down there and, I was literally down there for like an hour just to film cutting the front off. And I was like, all right. I was like, that's all I needed. I'm like, you can just keep going. I'm not going to come. I'm going to be gone for the next 2 weeks anyway. So like, I don't just keep going on it. And then when I come back, the thing will probably be almost done by the time I get back.
Mm-hmm.
And, so that last video that you saw to the next one, there's not going to be like any details.
It's just going to be almost done. Like basically
almost done. There's a few problems. I wouldn't say problems, but hurdles that we're going to have.
Uh-huh.
And then that will be interesting to kind of put on the video. And, like the bed and what we're going to do there. And there's certain things that Eric wants to do. So.
And it's kind of cool, like, for me, from my perspective, like you're already like kind of like hashing out the blueprint for doing this whole thing. Cause I'm eventually going to be up, and this is going to be my life for a little while, is doing all this stuff. So it's kind of, it's beneficial to me that you've kind of rooted out this all out. You're like, look, all you need to do is show this part, and show this part. You don't need to be here for this part.
Well, also,
and especially for me, because like I'm going to be making a 5-hour journey out there and spending some time out there.
Well, your plan is going to have to be like, okay, we need to spend a week on my truck.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just spend an entire week out here, a Monday through Friday, and then just be with Panda and just be like, hey, this Monday through Friday is just knocked out for my truck, so you could be there every single day.
Yeah,
but there's also, it's going to be like, there's certain things that are going to pique your interest that don't pique my interest that you put on video. Like you could be like, oh, this part's interesting to me, where it might not be to me. Like even yesterday, there was we're dealing with the clutch master cylinder situation on the red truck.
Mm-hmm.
And Panda's talking to me about it. I go, hold on. Why am I not filming this?
Oh,
so I had to get the camera and just film it. And there's so many times where we're sitting there and the camera's sitting over here and we're talking and I'm like,
that happens all the time.
Oh, and I go,
hold on.
Why am I not filming this?
Right.
This is like the part that I should be filming.
Right.
But you always think in your head, you're like, oh, there's these bright sparks flying and cutting and noises and I need that. That can only last for that's 30 seconds.
Right.
And that's it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
The other part is just it's funny because I'll just follow them around with the camera. Just kind of like, I'm just like the annoying little brother that's just following them around.
Mm-hmm.
But then, throwing stuff in there like driving Panda's truck just to
break it up a little bit,
you know?
Yeah, no, it's really interesting. And I'm very excited. I can't wait to get started on my journey on that whole thing. But yeah, it's kind of neat that, because like we're gonna get into questions later and then another episode. But one of the things that I said was like, does anybody have any questions about Brian's many truck builds? Because you're on your second. This is the second one, right? Because the Tacoma
is the third one.
The third one. Oh,
the Nissan was the first
Nissan.
One.
Oh yeah.
That's
right.
And then we had the
Nissan
Maverick.
Tacoma.
Like the Maverick was a little mini one, and like
right.
Even the Titan getting painted. Like they weren't full builds, but these are like things that are happening, and like and it's funny. Like when we were in there getting the Tacoma to go to reunion, and there was like the Tacoma was in there and the red truck was in there, and it was like, oh, this is like there's
the transition.
There's things happening here,
right?
Yeah, so
that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, great. Yeah, great video. Enjoyed it. Like I said, the Tanner stuff was great. The second I saw Tanner whip out the TIG welder, I'm like, oh, that looks expensive.
Well, it was so funny, man, because like that line I had was I didn't know it was stripped because I never tried to actually screw it on. I just placed everything and zip tied it so it was there.
Mm-hmm. Just mocked up.
Yeah, and then when he screwed it on, he's like, "Nope, it's not going on." And if we would, because it's an aluminum nut and an aluminum thread.
Oh yeah.
So if we would have tried to force it, it would have messed up the condenser. You can't just unbolt. Like, that was already the third condenser I bought. So then the guy that I got the stuff from, we started going over his house, and he's like, "Nope, I gave the last one to someone else." I'm like, "Oh, that someone else was me."
Oh.
So we turned around and we go to the junkyard.
He doesn't remember you?
No, I'm texting the guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the guy that I get my parts from.
Yeah.
I normally don't text him. I usually go through Facebook
I
Marketplace.
see. Okay.
But I had texted him because I wanted him to answer me quickly because we needed that part fast.
Mm-hmm.
So then we turned around, go to the junkyard. Mind you, it's 110.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're at the junkyard. We find one. That one's stripped. I'm just like, man. So then we went to O'Reilly's. It's a dealer-only part. Then I called the dealer, and they're like, it's on back order. And then I found one that could be shipped in a few days, but it was like a $29 part, and then it was $35 to ship. And I'm just like, and then that's when he just started sifting through all of his stuff and found that, and he's just like, cut, and welded it together.
That's the cool part about Tanner is like he has like his knowledge of this stuff is like he just like starts putting stuff into action. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And,
well,
he's
just not afraid to just
that's a good way to
cut
say it.
something. You know what I mean? And just like where me, I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna mess that up.
Right.
Or I don't have the tools to do it. You know, It's just like, oh, well, if it doesn't work now, if we try this and it doesn't work, then we're still back at
you're still kind of in the same
still
place.
back at the same boat. You know.
Yeah. No, it was great. Yeah, Tanner is always a treat to have on there. I'm trying to think of anything else that piqued my interest in the video.
It's hard to film Tanner. It's hard to follow him around because he'll say something and do something, and then I'm like, hold on, like I need to get this. I know you're not I didn't come over here I came over here to get work done on my truck, but I also want to film this, and I know he likes it too. You know what I mean? Like he likes to get not
participate.
Show off. Participate. There you go. That's perfect. Yeah, participate in it all. So, but yeah, and now the Tacoma has air conditioning.
That's cool. And so you're going to take that to a show tomorrow, right?
Yeah, today's Thursday.
And you needed air conditioning.
I didn't need it.
Well,
I wanted it.
Yeah, it's going to be nicer.
Yeah.
You know, remember how you were saying about things that like will just piss you off?
Yeah.
If you had driven that truck from your house out to the show tomorrow and it's 100 and something degrees, that's one thing that's going to piss you off.
It's not going to piss me off because I expected it already to be hot.
That's true.
What I would do is no, it wouldn't piss me off because I decided to do it. It would piss me off if I got halfway there and it stopped working.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
but
fair.
I'm expecting it not to work, and I get in it and make the decision to go. I'm not going to be mad. I'm mad. You know what I mean? But I also would just would be like, I'll just take the Maverick.
Easier to talk yourself out of the situation.
Easier to talk.
The Maverick is so nice.
It is. And it's like it's cool enough to participate.
Right.
But it's not.
It's not the Tacoma.
It's not the Tacoma.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's only blowing out the center vents on the Tacoma, so it's not like it doesn't get like frosty in there.
Oh, really?
Because it doesn't have carpet. It doesn't have insulation.
So that ambient heat is just
heat
like
coming from everywhere.
Oh yeah.
And I think a lot of people think this, and this goes with your 4Runner too. They think that sound deadening is actually good for heat.
We figured that out, or you figured that out.
Yeah, and it's not. You need, and I know Brent is going on with his C10 in the club. He's building a C10. He told me he just got some sound deadening stuff, and I'm just like, you need a layer of heat stuff in there, because otherwise it's just like, imagine you being at your house running your air conditioning with no insulation.
That's exactly what it is.
It's exactly, you know what I mean? You got heat coming, especially being body dropped. Your exhaust is up against the floor.
Yeah, that was the problem with the 4Runner.
Yeah. And so,
it wasn't body drop, but
yeah, but still, it's
no, I know,
close enough. You know what I mean? But so you have that plus the road. You're closer to the road. You're driving low, and it's just, and you're a lot of times your firewall is stripped of everything too, because you've body dropped it, cut it up, or there's holes, whatever. So getting not just sound deadener, but getting that layer of insulation for heat that's specifically for heat.
Yeah. And also what's interesting is you talking about like the firewall being stripped and everything. When you're taking apart a truck like that, you kind of like just gloss over the fact of how much engineering goes involved in that.
Yeah.
Like when you start pulling stuff off and you're pulling off these weird pads and stuff, all of that is meant to be there to do a whole bunch of things. You know what I mean?
Exhaust heat shields.
Yeah.
You know, like to keep heat off certain things. Like I could probably get under there and wrap my exhaust and it would be a little bit better. Wrap the header because it runs real hot. But yeah, so now I'm going to take the dive. It's not going to be cheap to
Never
do all
is.
that stuff, but at the same time, again, like how you and your 4Runner, remember you were driving to Prim and you're just like, this is miserable, and that sticks with you. And when I'm like, drive it to Arizona, you're like, I don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
those are the things.
those are the things I think about, and I go, no, I want to prepare myself to make this as comfortable as I can.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, we'll see how it does tomorrow.
And
it's also we're on a cool streak here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's only going to get to like 100.
Oh, only 100.
Yeah.
We're similar over here, but it's like 90.
Yeah. Yeah.
But one of the last comment that I had for the video was it really kind of struck me exactly like Panda and Brandon. They're good at what they do, and that truck is going to be super badass. But it kind of struck me how kind of like what's the right word? Not rudimentary, but how like they built that truck on the ground. They didn't use a frame table. They didn't have to have.
They don't have a lift.
They built that truck exactly where it sat on the ground, which I was kind of like, oh man, because what did it for me is when they were putting the cab back on and that little whatever that thing was holding up the cab. It struck me. I'm like, oh yeah, this thing is just on the ground.
Yeah, and what I also lacked in explaining in the video, which this is on me in trying to do these things. That's why I kind of come back at the end sometimes and like go over things.
Mm-hmm.
But I kept saying, oh, he wants to get it on the ground. Well, we had to put it on the ground, see where it hit, and then put it back up, and then trim, and then put it back down, and then bring it back up. So there was 3 or 4 times where that went up and down, and then now finally it's in place permanently.
Oh, it's on the mounts.
It's on the mounts now, like it's
cool.
bolted down and all that stuff. So
did this is like a small detail that probably didn't end up in the video, but did you guys spray the frame with like some black paint or something? Or
yeah, it's
okay,
yeah,
okay. I didn't know if that was going to be a thing that you had to blow it back apart to like.
No,
because like you're not planning on doing any powder coating or like anything like that. Is all.
No, it's just paint.
Which is going to be the thing. Like I have some ideas for my video that we'll talk about later, post pod. But like there's little things like that I want to do with mine, like just paint everything black. Like don't get fan. Don't. I just want it black, simple. But anyway, that's a discussion for another time.
I mean, you're kind of going to be forced to, because a lot of people think, oh, I got to powder coat it. Coat it. What they don't realize is if you want to powder coat your chassis, it has to just be the chassis. That's a huge thing. You don't need to do it.
Right.
You know, you can use, depending on where you live too, you know, like you could leave that frame completely raw metal and nothing's ever going to happen to it out here.
Well, especially like places where we live.
Yeah, but like you can just use, like Rust-Oleum has a really good roll on. You just take a roller or paintbrush and just paint it on, and it's good. Yeah, I know Eastwood has some products. I used I forgot the stuff I used, but it's like $30 a can. And I think I went through 4 or 5 cans.
Oh wow! And it's same application, like a brush or like a roller?
No, this one was out of a spray can.
Oh, I see.
But yeah, and those are the things that I was talking about, like when I was talking about hardware and fittings, and those costs. Like it's not the big costs of the body drop or the buying the things. It's those little things that come when you're at the end. You're like, okay, go to the Ace Hardware. Or we went to Frontier. Luckily, we got Frontier Shop Supplies, which you can go online and buy stuff at Frontier Shop Supplies.
Yeah.
Sponsor.
Well, he's not paying us yet, so hold on.
But you can, you're like, go to Ace and buy these bolts for the 4-link and the shocks. And you're like, okay, cool. And you come back and you're like, oh, that was $120.
Yeah.
You're like, you don't think, and then the fittings, and then the paint. Like, do you just want to buy the cheap $6 a can stuff? And then your brain starts to go, well, this is a forever thing. I only have to do it once. And so there's this term. It's called buy once, cry once. And you're just sometimes you just got to go
bite it and just do it.
All right, I'm going to spend $150 on paint versus $60 on paint, but you only have to do it one time.
Right.
Yeah. So good times.
Yeah. Then if you haven't checked out that video yet, go check it out. It's on Grindr TV YouTube channel.
Yay.
My adventure. I went and looked at my first truck.
You took action.
I took action. I did it, and I went. And I'm really like, it was kind of like it was like a big first step, like just going out and actually looking at a truck.
Yeah.
You know, like I've been scouring Marketplace every day. I was talking about before that, like I was like getting to the point where it was just like making me ill because it was just too much stuff. You know what I mean? So last Sunday, we were down at a softball tournament, and so we're like, hey, let's cruise out to Anaheim and check out this truck, and we did, and it wasn't as advertised. It was as advertised, but there was a little more to it. To get into the nuts and bolts of the situation, they were asking $8,800 for it. They had lowered the price to $8,000. So I go look at it. It was very clean. It was super clean. The inside was really nice. It ran smooth. It revved smooth. Clean oil. The things that bugged me for that price was there were dings all over it. Like it had been sideswiped on one side, but not sideswiped where the side was caved in, but just like they brushed up against something on both sides actually. And then like on the back of the cab, you can tell it was like a work truck and just like throwing stuff in the back because there's all these like little tiny dimples on the back of the cab, you know. So little tiny stuff like that. One thing that caught my eye, and I don't know, and you can maybe say that this was not a thing or it is a thing. When I opened up the hood, the whole engine compartment had this like thin black like soot on it. And I think what it was is someone had cleaned the engine bay and like put Armor All on it or something, and it was just the dust. So it was like, I took that as like, and this is where I need your advice is like, are you hiding something? Did you clean it up? Was it covered in oil before? Were they doing it just try to sell it and make it nice, or was there a problem that they were covering up?
Yeah, that's one of those things where like a lot of people that just go to sell a vehicle, they don't know how to like prepare it or whatever, you know what I mean? So they could just spray Armor All on it and it gets dusty. You'll know.
It probably wasn't
You
nefarious.
could look under it. Like you could just literally look under the truck and look in their driveway and look in the front of their house and see if there's like puddles of oil that have been, like maybe they moved the truck so there's no oil under where it's parked now because you came and looked at it. But there's oil like over there.
Caked up. Or maybe
just like on the ground.
Oh, I see. Oh, like in the
front of their
area.
house.
Oh,
like say where this truck was parked in their driveway. Is there an oil pan or is there cardboard sitting in their driveway and they moved it to the street so now it doesn't look like? But you know,
so that's great advice because I had not thought about that. But that's great things to look for.
Yeah, like if I was selling a truck and it leaked oil all over my driveway, I would move it to the street right before they showed up.
Right. Well, that's one thing about this one. It was sitting exactly where. Well, no, not where the photographs were taken, but it was in the general area of where it was. So, and in their driveway. But yeah, everything was great about it. Just the price was the biggest thing. And like when I first went, so it was $8,800. They dropped it to $8,000. This is also funny. So then I'm looking at it, and the guy goes, "Oh, there are two people. There are a husband and a wife." I was messaging the wife, and the message specifically said, "There's no room for negotiation." Or no, I'm sorry, there's very little room for negotiation.
It said, that it's not too negotiable.
That's what it was exactly.
Yeah.
So you know, I'm over there and I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it with the husband, and I said, first of all, it had been on Marketplace for 3 months. It's been sitting there for 3 months. Yeah. And so I asked him a couple key questions. I asked him. I was like, have you had a lot of people look at it? He's like, oh yeah. And then why has no one bought it? If you had a lot of people look at it, number one. And then I said, well, you know, your wife said the price wasn't too negotiable. You know, so, you know, and he's like, well, just make me an offer. And I was like, well, you know, let me think about it and, you know, mull it over. In reality, for $6,500, that truck is worth, is not a bad deal.
Yeah. I mean, even at $8,000, you're skirting on just get it. If everything else was solid on it, like 100% you knew everything else was solid, because you're going to come to, like, I've been looking at Marketplace. Tacoma's now, like, just like.
Yo, yeah. And hold on. I want to say thank you to everybody. I mean, I get dozens of messages. I really appreciate it. Thank you. So, yes, I have the entire mini truck community scouring Facebook Marketplace. So,
I was just looking at prices and looking at trends, and it's just like, it could come down to where you're at 7 or 8 for a rougher one. And that's why I was saying, like, talk to Alan, because it could come to a point where you just get one. It all depends on where the roughness is. Because
and with this one, to be fair on this one, the roughness was objectively only the body.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Like where on, like I'm saying, like okay, because if you get a truck that's not in great condition, and then you take it to Alan for him to fix it, how much is that going to be? So if Alan says, "Oh, it's going to be X," so we'll say $5,000, and then you get the truck for now you're at $13,000, but you have a brand new paint job.
That's a good way to look at it.
You know, so it's almost one of those things where it's hard to do because you want to be like, take Alan with you.
Oh yeah. Well, if I had if in a perfect world, I'd take Alan, Eric, and my mechanic. Just mob around looking for Tacomas.
Exactly, right? But it's like an impossible thing. It's like
right.
So, you got to kind of go, okay, well, look at these dents, and you almost have to tell Alan, like, hey, in an hour, I need to FaceTime you, and then FaceTime him and walk around the truck and slowly show him. And
that's a good idea.
You know, and then he could be like, yeah, you know, we don't need to bodywork that. We could probably push those dents out or whatever. You know, like as long as you don't need to replace body panels. Then you know you might be at that point where you're like, okay, well, the rough one, you know, if they would have taken 7, then it probably would have been a good deal.
Right. Well, yeah, that's true. Well, here's the thing. Also, okay, couple things to break down in this scenario. This is one of the trucks that I've been looking at since the beginning, and even back to a couple weekends ago when we were talking at the show. And so one unique thing is I almost feel like, am I just settling? Am I just going after this one? Am I not being patient? Even though actually this particular truck in Irvine checks off all of the boxes. It's silver.
Yep.
It's an extra cab. It's the right interior. It's not 214-ish thousand miles. So, I mean, it is checking off all these boxes.
Yeah.
So it's like, but then again, like if I do decide to go get that one, am I just settling? Should I have waited for something else? I'm in this really kind of unique position.
You are, because you don't need the truck right now.
No, I would.
So there's no reason to just wait, but you also don't want to miss the deal like you did before, right? So you don't want.
I'm so scorned.
Yeah, you don't want to miss it. So it's one of those things you have to set a boundary with yourself. You have to say, okay, if that truck in Irvine, what's the price to pay for that truck? And then you have a long time to save up money for a paint job.
Yeah.
Especially you want the clean one. Like you want that dime, that $10,000, $11,000, $12,000 truck, you know. But if you get one for $7,000, now you're $4,000 off of what you were going to pay for the one in Bakersfield. So if Alan was like, yeah, man, $4,000,
it would be the exact same thing.
It would be the exact same thing. And it would be even better. It would be a brand new paint job.
Right. And another thing to go back to your video that kind of like struck me is it didn't dawn on me. And then as Panda, you guys set the cab down, everything's going along, and he brings a fender and he's just kind of like mocking up the fender. I'm thinking, if I buy a truck that has like perfect paint, you still need to take the fenders and the bed off and do all this moving, and like things are gonna get scratched. Like,
well, you prepare for that. You just blue tape
right, but I'm just saying that like it just opened my eyes that wait a minute, we do have to move a bunch of this stuff.
Yeah. So when you're looking at these trucks, dents are different than scratches, and then also faded paint. You know, like
the paint was faded on
a lot of times the hood and the roofs on those will get a little bit,
especially
faded
with the silver ones, because they're metallic silver.
Yeah.
And those things burn out bad. Yeah. Because I've seen a couple green ones and a couple red ones that look really, really nice. You know, even with just like, you know, you could tell they'd be sitting outside, but I think silver is just one of those. Here's the kicker. So we go look at it. We just say, okay, probably not the one. Moving on. 2 days later, they lower the price to $7,500.
Did they?
Yeah. So my thing is,
did you drive it?
No, I did not drive it. But I did. Okay, so I'll walk you through how I looked at it. So I rock up. So I'm gonna be like, this was maybe a little overreactionary, but we pull into the neighborhood. I look over it and I see the back of the cab, all the little dings, and we're like, nope, that's not the one.
Yeah.
I just right off the bat I said that, but I said and Angie was like, well, do you just want to leave? And I said, no, let's go check it out because this is the first one. So we go check it out. And what I did was went through the interior, made sure all that was good, dash, air conditioning, like all that. Started it, revved it up, just held it at a rev, like let it, you know, cycle through. Went underneath the hood, did the same, you know, hold the throttle, you know, opened up the oil filler, see if it had any like really bad blow by or anything like that. Which, is that a thing anymore? I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway, so
these things, I would go and look at it and go, looks fine. 'Cause I have no clue what the, you know what I mean? Like, you can hear, and that's why I was saying, like, driving it's probably important, especially with the automatic transmission. You want to feel.
Oh, I did put it in gear. I did put it in gear to make sure it engaged and everything.
Yeah,
I
but
did
I mean,
as much
just-
as I could without driving it.
Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely, like, if you do go back to that one, or if you do another one, I would definitely drive it around just because you want to feel it shift.
Right.
You want to feel if it lurches or if it does anything weird. Other than that, again, it's a gamble.
Well, yeah, it was all a gamble, right?
Yeah.
And you know what's also interesting is the reaction from the guy selling it. He didn't speak very good English, but there's always vibes. You could tell vibes. Like, he's like, I'm looking at this thing, combing over it, and he's looking at me like, this is a work truck. What are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, like it was like, because I realized not everybody is like thinking how we're thinking, like we're going to do these things.
Yeah.
So this guy's just like, hey man, it runs, it goes into drive, and it's registered. What do you want? You know, so it was just this really interesting interaction. Oh, another little thing that popped up. He's like, yeah, it's got 214,000 miles on it. He's like, I just bought that one for work, and that one's got 300,000 miles on it. And I was like, wait, you bought another Tacoma for work when this one? And so I was like, what's going on there? But anyway, I mean, I could, you know, a lot of this is like a lot of, I found myself being very, like, I guess the best way to describe it is like a conspiracy theorist. I'm like, why? Why is that? Why is this? Why are you doing that? When probably it's all very simple. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the thing is you saw it and you saw all those dents and you just went, I don't have a good feel. That's all you're going to see on that truck driving it around. So just wait. Just buy. Like, again, you have this time. There's no time that you need to get this done.
I understand that.
It's all a mental stress.
It is. And I'll tell you about something about that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's all I was going to say. It's literally, that's all it is. There's no, like, if you were to buy that truck right now, it would just sit in your driveway. It would just sit in front of your house.
I would like to, two things. I would like to get one now so I can drive it around like stock and really get a feel for it, and, you know, take it to my mechanic, get it really dialed in, do all the maintenance, like do all that stuff, and just have it. The other thing is like, I am now falling into this, and I mentioned this before about not having anything right now. And I'm falling into this weird, like, mental state, like that mental thing you're talking about. You know, the 4Runner's gone. It's, you know, that guy's really enjoying it. He texts me basically every day with, like, stuff he's, like, doing to it. And he's all, look, you know, asking little questions like, what does this thing do? Or what does that thing do? And, like, he went through just recently and cleaned the entire suspension under it. It's, like, looks brand new underneath now. And so now I'm like, I don't miss the truck. I'm not missing the truck, but I'm like kind of jealous. Like, man, he's having so much fun with that truck. Like, that looks so much fun. I'm like, I don't have anything right now because when I built that truck, I had already purchased the truck and had other things. So I already had, like, it was almost like this plan was just kind of like being put into motion. Where now, like, I don't have anything to make a plan. Does that make sense?
When you think about it, all you had before was piles of shit.
That's true. Before the 4Runner,
and you did that because you didn't want to not have anything. So you just accepted these things.
I see what you're saying, yeah.
And so now you're to this point where you're like, no, I want this nice thing, this thing that reflects this time in my life. Mm-hmm. You know, because imagine if you were just go get another pile of crap and another pile of crap, you would not be happy. You're just fulfilling this thing of this weird of having something. But now, like, look at me. I didn't have anything for a long time.
Right.
You know, but I also didn't do what you did. I didn't trade things and have all these, then always have something. Mm-hmm. I always just had this very long-term project that I knew one day it would be this. So we were both in a different mental state. So the mental state you're in is just pre-4Runner.
Basically, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, you're like, oh, I need something. But the way you're doing it now is you're doing it the right way. You're planning.
Right.
If you go and you just quote unquote settle, like, I don't think that truck is settling. I just think that truck is, if you buy it, you're going to walk outside and look at those dents every day. Imagine if you bought the $10,000 one that was super clean, you'd walk outside and you go, damn, look at that thing.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
You know, you'd be like more proud of the condition that it's in versus now I got an uphill battle with this one.
That's
even though that uphill battle, it's not that bad. You know, like I would have a conversation with Alan and just say, hey, if I bought a silver one and it was dinged up a little bit, what are you going to charge me to fix it?
I'm going to see him. I have to go drop shirts off to him. So I'm going to see him very soon. We're going to have that conversation.
Yeah. And just have that and then at least you know in your head that when you go and you see dings on a truck, you're either going to go, nope, or you're going to go, that's not a big deal anymore.
Right. And also it'll just give me like, that's just a little more knowledge that I'll have when looking at these things.
Yeah.
You know? So,
yeah.
And that's what this is all about. It's all just kind of like this like learning process and kind of like, this like kind of learning as I go kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be like just to get that new stock old truck is going to be so cool.
I know. I'm actually, and maybe that's why I'm like, and this is why, you know, Angie thinks I would be settling with that is because like I am missing that and I'm trying to be patient, you know?
Yeah.
So,
it'll come. One day you're just going to go on Marketplace
and
you're going to click that little button and it's going to go newly listed and you're going to call them and they're going to go, sorry, I already sold it. No, they're going to go, yeah, it's available. And you're going to be replying as you're walking out the door. Like, then now you know you're less like, I don't care where it's at. I mean, obviously if it's within a couple of hours you can get it fast, but even, you know, if it's
we're going to get into questions probably the next episode, but that's one of the questions is about out of state trucks, but we'll get there. Yeah.
I mean, that's what even Tanner was saying. He always says like, look up at the Northwest because
he sent me a clean one. Did he show you the one that he sent me?
Yeah,
that was a clean one.
Yeah, because up in the Northwest, people always think, oh, it's moisture and there's rust up there, but it's not because they don't salt the roads like they do.
Right.
And that's what causes the rust. But then they preserve their interiors and their paint because it's not always sunny.
Oh,
and
that's a good
all
point.
the rubbers are still, you know
moist.
what I mean? Moist.
That's one thing that I found about all the trucks in Arizona, like all the Phoenix trucks.
Oh, yeah.
All these things are cooked. Like
they
literally.
are cooked. You got to find the ones that the old people park in the garage.
Yeah. Did you see that? I think you sent it to me. We've all seen the same trucks.
Yes.
Because it's Marketplace. Within this area, we've all seen the same ones. But there's that red one in Whitman.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's super clean. But then, like, it's, again, the wrong color. Like
it is. It is. Whatever's important to you, this is the time to make sure that that's important to you.
Yeah. Because I was, looking at that one, I was staring at them all.
Your brain will start to go.
I don't want a red
brain.
truck.
Yeah. But your brain for a split second will just go,
red ain't bad.
That's fine.
Yeah, red's fine. And then until I realized, like, you know, what's the funny thing is I love Joey's truck. That red that he has on his truck is just such a killer red. But I'm not a red truck guy. Like, you know, you're a red truck guy. Your truck used to be red.
If I had my option right now, I'd go buy a red truck, a red Tacoma. Like, I'm looking at trucks and I'm like, man, I still have to put that much money and more into my truck. I could just go buy that truck and take everything off my truck
and just put it on that one.
Put it on that truck.
You could buy just a clean ass standard cab,
standard Tacoma, and just take everything off my truck and put it on it.
Yeah. You've thought about that, huh?
Mm-hmm. Now.
Now you are. Dude, I've seen a couple like clean standard cabs for like $7,000.
I know. I'm just like, hey, my truck's for sale. I'll put the Yankees on it, keep my custom wheels.
Right.
And just go from there.
That's funny. That's super funny. What about? I was gonna say something else about their whole red truck thing.
There's that one that someone sent us, that gold one, because there's that gold color in those years too.
Yeah. Well, that was what the 4Runner was gold.
Yeah.
But I did like I can't even get myself halfway excited about that color.
I know.
You know what I mean? I look at it, I'm just like, no.
Because what are your choices in those years? You have white, silver, that green, forest green or whatever,
green,
purple.
Oh yeah, that purple.
Black.
I saw a black one.
Gold.
Red.
So like, even me, I would be like, oh, I would only want a silver, a white, or a red. I don't want a green. I don't want.
I have found out I do not want a green one. There's one up in Oroville. It's that one's freaking super clean, but I'm all green. Ugh. I'm definitely not a green truck guy.
Even though the giveaway truck, which I'm gonna make a video on that soon. Even that's green, and I'm not excited about it, but I'm like, it's not for me.
Right? Yeah. Not
this
a green
thing's
truck
gonna look sick on the ground, regardless of what it is. It's not mine, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, I'm not a green fan. I really like Eric's truck, the way the red and everything like.
Well, I think because that's a different red. The Tacoma reds are more like a metallic-y maroon red.
No, the Tacoma reds are bright reds.
I think there are some bright red ones.
Look at Joey. No, well, there's two reds. There is a maroon, what you're talking about,
Right.
but then there's
Oh,
the red like Joey's.
Oh, Joey's is a stock color?
That's a factory red Toyota.
Oh. I thought that was just like a...
No, they have a bright red Tacoma.
Oh. Okay, I'm not seeing any of those then.
Mine was a bright red Tacoma. My Tacoma was bright red.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
That was a Toyota color.
That's what we were just seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't seen any of those.
I have some. Oh, you were going to say something and I cut you off. Do you
No,
remember what it was?
I forgot.
My bad.
No, the red truck thing, yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, convincing. Yeah, we were talking about how like you look at it and you're just like, am I a red truck guy? And then you realize like, no, not a red truck guy, not a green truck guy.
Like I will see,
not a champagne-y brown.
Yeah, like I will see a
gold
truck that I don't want, and I'll see it in the wild, body drop, wheels, and I go, that's sick.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not the color I want for myself.
Right, right.
You know, like I'll see a champagne that gold color laid out, and I'm like, sick.
Mm-hmm.
Or a red one, super dope.
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever it is, like it's cool, but it's not. That's not. If I was gonna spend my money on it, I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
Buy that one.
And that's where I'm at, and that's why like it's funny when everybody sends me stuff and I just sound like such a like picky person. I'm like, no, wrong color, no, wrong year, nope, wrong interior.
It's fun searching just to see what's out there for sale.
Yeah, well, and yeah, that's also another kind of fun thing about this whole journey is just like going on Marketplace, clicking on these links, seeing what people are doing out there. And then the funny ones are the ones we come across, like that silver one that has like mismatched doors and a bed, and they're like $8,500, and it's got like 2 pictures.
I know. Did you even ask them for more pictures?
No, why would I? That thing's a piece of junk. Which one are you talking about?
I'm talking the one I sent you that had it was a silver one from Lancaster.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I would have just said, hey, do you have any more pictures of it? What's it gonna hurt?
yeah,
Again,
that's true.
he could give it to you for $6,000. You could be like, I'll give you 6, and then you pay Alan 5, and you have a brand new truck.
Yeah, that's true. But
Like
I don't think that one
you,
is.
Yeah,
it looks pretty beat.
Yeah, but it looks beat. But you also don't want to pass up these certain things. Like it's free to ask questions.
That's true.
Just to see what's out there.
Yeah.
Or not what's out there, but just to. What if the only bad part about that truck was just that door? What if everything else was mint?
Yeah, that's fair.
And then you're just like, oh fuck, I could have had my truck now. But yeah, you just don't. Yeah, that one obviously looked like, from when I saw it, I was like, oh, I kind of had those notes here from when we were brought up Marketplace last week, and I forgot to say this, but like, if you're listing something on Marketplace, you want to put a lot of pictures.
Oh yeah,
and good pictures, not like a vertical picture and you can only see half the truck, or like and then don't and then be responsive. I can't stand when like someone's selling something and you're like, hey, how's it going? I'm interested. And they don't respond to you.
Yeah.
Like if I have something on Marketplace, my notification's on. I'm trying to sell it. I don't want to like.
What's also interesting on Marketplace is they have the response percentage.
Uh-huh.
I just figured that out too. So like I shot a question over to this one guy. I didn't even talk about the Vegas one. And then so I was sitting there waiting for a response, and it's all 65% response rate. I'm like, oh yeah, this fool's not going to answer. But anyway, there's one. Did you see the one in Vegas?
I don't think so.
So I'll send you that one. This one is everything. It checks all the boxes. The question that I sent was, he says, oh, it's got 40,000 on a new motor.
Oh, I sent that one to you a while back. It's like just north of Vegas.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And it's not on stock wheels. It's on some kind of like cheapy aftermarket wheels. So I sent him a message because I'm trying to. And again, another big thank you to everybody is all the advice on like how to ask questions, how to approach people. And so I think Mike Backey suggested this, and he's like, just start off with like a couple questions, kind of like feel them out. And that's what I did. I said, hey, do you have any paperwork on the motor swap, or anything like that? So no response. Yeah. But that one's in pretty good shape too.
Yeah, I think these Tacomas, like, they'll just sell. People don't. They're not interested in a lot of the things like you said, like that we're interested in. Mm-hmm. They're just interested in a truck.
I think there are two types of people. I think there are people who want to use them as work trucks, and people who want to use them to save gas and do like truck things on
which
the
is funny because they don't get good gas mileage.
Oh, really?
No.
The
They're
four
like-
cylinders?
No.
Oh.
No, you're
I don't know.
flooring it to try to get up to speed. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
that's true. That's true. Because they're 2.7s, right?
it's fourth.
2.4s. Oh, so that's the Camry has a 2.5 in it. I think
Yeah.
it's slow as shit.
Yeah. Especially an automatic. Like an automatic Tacoma is a dog. Like you thought you're used to it. You were driving
I
Forerunner
already
around.
had that.
Yeah. So like,
But when the
it's-
Forerunner got up to speed, man, it
yeah,
went.
once it that's all those memes and jokes about like getting on the freeway and it's like, whoa, but it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then all the memes about you think you're getting like this little thing that's good on gas and it's not.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and that's also the misconception with like the newer Tacomas too, like the ones with the like the V6 in them, like the really like
Like
a
the
20
brand new ones?
like not brand new, it's the generation before this newest one.
Yeah.
You know, like those things get the same gas mileage as like a Tundra. The V8.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, the huge misconception on the gas mileage. But I was just saying that those are usually the people looking for these trucks because it's written in the descriptions, like a lot of this like gas saver, you know, like.
Oh yeah.
So-
Yeah, I find that funny when it's just like gas saver. It's like, what do you think they're driving now? That they're trying to buy a 20-year-old truck to save gas. Whatever they're driving now,
true.
it's probably a 20-year-old vehicle that gets the same amount of gas mileage.
Yeah, or there may be someone bought like a newer truck. Well, yeah, maybe, I don't know. Or someone has the second gen Tundras, or well, actually the 2.5 gen Tundras. Best motor, those 5.7s, best motor ever built, 10 miles a gallon. So maybe it's that dude. Maybe that dude is like, I got this Tundra, it kicks ass, I love it, but I want to get better than 10, so I'll go get this
I just
Tacoma
need
that
it.
gets 18.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the dude that's looking for it.
I don't know.
Yeah. So the adventure continues. You're headed out. You're headed out for some adventures yourself.
Yes. And I'm filming it all. Yeah, I'm leaving here, driving to Georgia, driving to northern Georgia, driving to Tennessee, and then driving home.
So what's the show in Tennessee that you're going to?
It's remember I told you, Southeast Truck Nationals.
I know, but did we talk about that on here?
Yep.
We did?
We went over the name and everything.
Southeast Truck Nationals. And
It's a GM C10 show.
That's right, we did. We did talk
Yes.
about that. So you're going to start that adventure. We're going to jump from this episode into another episode, which is all questions that we asked. We got a ton of them, so that'll be fun in this next episode.
Yeah, we're trying to navigate the Instagram is interesting.
Oh my gosh, dude, it's kind of frustrating.
It's a little weird because like when I went on it before this just to look, I clicked the general tab and I showed you all those things,
And
were
mine looked
still
completely different.
Yeah. So if people are messaging us questions and stuff, we sometimes don't get to them for like a month. So if we don't like answer you, or if we just tap and heart it, that means we got it, and we will we'll attempt to figure it out. But sometimes we just skip them, or we don't see them, or we think you
something
see 'em, or
happens
you think
and-
I see him, or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, give us a break.
Give us a break. But anyway,
Yeah.
go to our websites, livelifecustom.com, grander-tv.com. Buy stuff.
Buy stuff. All we're gonna have soon is Tacoma t-shirts.
Yeah, I know. That's gonna be hilarious, dude. It's gonna be so funny. I loved it when I was like, "What about this white one?" And you're like, "Look, man, we can't have 12 shirts with white Tacomas on them. Just one's a standard cab,
If you
one's an
if you
extra
thought
cab."
about it, I haven't put even a shirt with my Tacoma on it yet.
I know, and I kind of did before that.
Yeah, so the rule should be you can't make a Tacoma t-shirt till your Tacoma's bagged and body dropped.
Oh, that's
Because
gonna be hard.
then you're just
But what about if
what's that?
we'll talk about it later? I might have
'Cause
already
then
broke that rule.
Oh jeez. You're gonna make a Tacoma shirt. You don't even own the Tacoma. I own the Tacoma and haven't made a Tacoma t-shirt.
When I do own the Tacoma,
Mr. Money Grabs over here. Just
Mr. Money Grabs.
not putting in the work yet, but just grabbing that
I'm
money.
lining everything up. Okay, so like, no, I will not release a Tacoma shirt before I actually have
Just
a
kidding. I
Tacoma.
think you could release whatever you want.
But I will probably have basically like a rendering of a shirt done that will eventually be the truck.
Yeah.
So that I'll sell before the truck's done.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's coming soon.
Coming soon. We got 15 seconds to an hour.
Oh, I'm already over an hour, so you're a little bit behind.
I'm a little bit behind. I didn't hit record till like right before we started talking.
Oh.
There's drop shirts, cheap.
Oh, okay, yeah. Blow those puppies out.
Blow those things out. We got a new idea coming, and so yeah, they're like $20 shipped on the website, the Grinder website right now.
Yeah, go get them. We need those
Go get
gone.
'em. Yeah, gone. All right.
All right, later.